my day job at a metaphysical store and my night job at Two Young Crones, both jobs are exactly what my life's calling has finally resolved itself to be.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, isn't it?
I'm gonna say goodnight on that one.
Oh, I think we should. But just to sum it up, moon magic is great. Moon energy is great. When you can combine them, that's fine. But you don't have to. But at least take time tonight, maybe to go out and look and see where the moon is in the sky.
And remind yourself, like Dave's going to remind himself, that it's available all the time, not just 4 days a month.
Exactly. Witchstones are a divination tool we created as part of our practice that deals with what we call concrete stones, specific types and kinds of energy, and conceptual stones, things and ideas about witchcraft, which can be read with either a seen or an unseen meaning. Recently, we have developed a set of oracle cards using this information. We would like to introduce you to one of these stones right now.
In today's Witchstone Spotlight, we'll be looking at the stone card for the Void. Concept stone cards focus on an aspect of the craft rather than a specific physical energy, and they detail the causal relationship of action and result, echoing the ideas of as above, so below, and as below, so above. The Void stone card is the fourth of 8 mental concept stone cards of the Witchstone Oracle that relate to the energy of thoughts or processes. It displays a pictograph of a black spiral that circles outward from the center, surrounded by a white and black border. The border being split, white over black, tells us that this is a concept stone card. The border being white over black, or air over earth, tells us that this card represents a mental concept. The word void often conjures up images of empty space, but those of us on the path view it as a vital part of the universe itself. It is not nothing or the absence of something, but the void which is full of space itself. We picture it not as an opposite of the divine, which is visible creation, but the source of creation itself. After all, many creation mythologies start out with light emerging from the darkness, which is the source of dreams and magic. The void is liminal, but not limited. Spaces waiting to be filled with the creations of the divine. So the energy is completely receptive. It is constantly expanding as it receives, but it does not need to project anything because it is the very vessel for the divine to create within. As it is receptive, its energy is associated with the dark half of the year. The void represents thoughts and ideas when reflecting on the element of air. The void represents personal development when reflecting on the element of earth. The seen energy for the void stone card in a reading is the space between, absence of answers, and not meant to know. The space between is a descriptor for the void, and it is a reminder that sometimes you may need to make space for creation in your life. Absence of answers may mean that there is no answer to your question right now. Not meant to know may mean that you're not meant to find an answer to your question, because sometimes there just are no answers. The unseen energy for the void stone card in a reading is the space between, beyond understanding, and accept your humanity. The space between is a descriptor again for the void, and it is a reminder that sometimes you need to just sit in the darkness in your space and contemplate your future creations. Beyond understanding may mean that sometimes you won't find any answers to a question because it is beyond your understanding for now, or maybe even for always. And accept your humanity may mean you need to work to accept that you are human and that there will always be questions without answers in all of our lives. Before we go, we would like to present you with a tip or trick or witchy hint. Just something to make your day go better, because we live in a mixture of the magical and the mundane.
Today's tip, trick, or witchy hint starts off with a very important statement. You are the magic. In other words, you don't need correspondences or fancy tools or costumes or practicing only by the light of the full moon in order to be magical or to perform spells and rituals, because you are the magic. Now, big rituals are great opportunities for developing our spirituality and magical awareness. Things like Sabbats and Esbats and all of that. And we often feel energized and especially magical after participating in one of these experiences. There's a couple of problems in only relying on this sort of thing for your spirituality. First, you can't do this every day or all the time because we have regular life that gets in the way. We have responsibilities, school, work, children, making sure the house is clean. And secondly, you can't hold on to that energy forever. It dissipates over time. However, you can benefit from adding small daily practices to your life that can serve as reminders that each of us is the magic. Daily practices do not have to be large and complex. They don't even have to take a long time. So, without further ado, here are 5 small suggestions for remembering that you are the magic. In other words, daily practices, things you could try out for yourself. Number 1, set your intent for the day when you get up by lighting a small candle each morning and stating what magical things you need or that you're planning to work on. Number 2, go for a walk. Connecting with the natural world around you is part of being a witch. After all, we are considered a nature religion, even if you live and work in an urban environment. You would be surprised how much of the natural world is hanging out. I can attest to this because I almost ran over a woodchuck in the middle of a busy street this morning in my car coming back from dropping off children. Number 3, read and study something a little bit each day. Most of us have an e-reader or an app on our phone where we can read an actual book. Pick some topic that relates to your own practice and commit to reading for a certain number of minutes every day. This is something you can do on your lunch break or while you're waiting in line at the drive-thru for coffee. Number 4, put a small something. Doesn't matter what it is, like a stone or a crystal, a feather, whatever, in your personal workspace or where you spend a great deal of time at home as a reminder that you are the magic. Very often we get bogged down in the mundane and need that something we can see and or touch to change our focus, even if it's just for a few minutes. And feel free to change that out periodically. Don't get stuck with the one crystal on your desk because you haven't bothered to see if that's still what you need. And finally, number 5, write down 5 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be large or complex, just things you can come up with easily, if that's how it works for you. I don't know. I rejoice every morning when I open the refrigerator and there's milk for coffee. Being aware that our needs are being met by the universe helps us generate a more positive, magical, and mundane mindset. So as you can see, these 5 small suggestions don't take long, but they're great ways to remember that you are the magic. Well, it looks like the coffee cups are empty for this week. We hope you join us again next Tuesday. But you can find us at our website, 2youngcrones.com. That's the number 2, Young Crones.
You can also find us on social media such as Facebook and Twitter.
Until then,
remember,
we are witches who work with energies to effect change.
We are believers in both immanent and transcendent divine.
We are celebrants of the passage of the solar and lunar cycles.
We are hedge walkers who pass back and forth between the worlds of the magical and the mundane.
We are seekers of knowledge.
We are walkers of a spiritual tradition we call the Path. So mote it be.